Bienvenidos and welcome back to Puro Pinche Gol, a place where we discuss all things USMT y la selección mexicana. My name is Adrian, joining me once again my co-host Tocayo, Adrian. Adrian, what's good, man?
Hey, what's up, man? Chill Sunday, another week of Liga MX, and just before it all stops for Leagues Cup.
Yeah, just stops completely the drama and the as starting to pick up, right? The steam just kind of gets taken away from it. But a good way to kind of end it before Leagues Cup, doble jornada, jornada tres, jornada cuatro, a lot of action in Liga MX, and this is our weekly Liga MX recap. So, Adrian, man, let's get right into it. Plenty of matches to watch over these 2 weeks. Let's start off with the match one. I guess top of the top matches of the week that we have here. Which one was it for you?
So this happened in Jornada tres, Cruz Azul against Cholos, and this was a top match for Jornada tres because both of them arrived at this week being undefeated, and both of them displaying very good football. But I personally wasn't expecting Cruz Azul to blow it out of the park and destroy Cholos as they did. If you look at the stats of the entire match, I mean, there were 17 shots, 7 on target from Cruz Azul. They weren't necessarily high on possession because we all know that Juan Carlos Osorio loves to keep possession, even though in this match was highly ineffective. But Cruz Azul just continued with the great form, tearing up Cholo's defense. To me, the biggest thing is that last season Cruz Azul was a strong team throughout the entire clausura, right? And the only one aspect that Cruz Azul was lacking was a strong striker or strong number 9. Not necessarily for scoring a ton of goals, but to be like a more of a complement to the entire team. And I think they found it with Yakumakis, who came from Atlanta United. As the Anselmineta continues to, on this venture of Apertura 2024, the players seem to be very settled on this game style. And again, this acquisition of Yakumakis, at least until Jornada tres, has proven to be the most effective one so far for Liga MX.
Cholos kind of off to a good start, like you mentioned in Liga MX this season. A lot was expected, I think, after that 4-2 win against Chivas in Jornada dos, and I mean, it was kind of one-sided, like you said, and we'll get into it, but they were able to kind of fix the ship. I mean, they tied in Jornada cuatro against San Luis 1-1, so Juan Carlos Osorio, like you said, hasn't played good football, but Cruz Azul, I think, is early on in this league one of the favorites to make it far.
It was definitely a reality check for Juan Carlos Osorio, right? I think they were pretty much flying high from. And here's the thing: Cholos last season was a complete disaster. So those first 2 matches proven to see, we saw something different, and I believe maybe Juan Carlos Osorio was, high on those 2 wins, and this was a calm down, buddy. You're doing great, but you don't have
players from last season.
Exactly, you don't have a strong squad.
Right, the Jake Goal miracles can only take you so far.
Exactly.
But I mean, 2 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss so far to start the season for Cholo, still doing good. Moving on to, I guess, the second match to watch here of the key matches from these 2 jornadas was one of the Titans versus a Titan here of Liga MX, Tigres versus Club America. Tigres ended up winning with an 87th minute goal from Marcelo Flores, who picks up right where he left off at the end of last season, and a game where Tigres had a lot more shots, kind of similar possession, but one that I think we were discussing as the game was going on, at least in the first half, that I personally didn't think Tigres were going to come away with any points on here. So it was nice that they came away with the win. But statement win for Paunovic, right?
Yeah, definitely. This is one of those matches that you want. Well, not you, but Paunovic really needed to win to start convincing the fans and the people around Tigres that he means business with this team. I do have to say that for the first 30 minutes at least, Tigres continued to look very slow and significantly disconnected between the defense and the offense. If you were paying attention, Paunovic made some changes and he started playing with a 4-2-4 formation, right? And that's something that they don't really play on a regular basis. It's more of a different approach when things go a little awry for them. But this time around, he just decided to go full ham on it. And if you were actually watching the match, you could see that there was huge spaces left open between when Tigres was doing like a drive from the defense to the offense, where Carioca was having a really tough time trying to find connections with the midfielders or the wings. So the biggest thing here is that Paunovic realized that a specific problem during the half, and he made adjustments, so much so that on the second half, Tigres pretty much dominated the entire match after that. I mean, if you look at the stats, I normally like to use track the matches with SofaScore, and they'll display how much time each team spends on the offensive, and you could see that Tigres was pretty much all offensive throughout the second 45 minutes.
Yeah, good point there. Talking about Panovic's change in formation. So the 4-4-2 is something that we don't see Tigres play a lot of, and it was kind of cool to see that kind of midfield being controlled by Gorriaran and Carioca there, and seeing a double point at top with Ibanez and Guignac. So definitely I guess a formation that gives Pauno some different options now, especially
Yeah.
knowing that it led to a win against El Grande. So big win against America here that leaves Tigres towards the top of the table. Another match that was a good one to watch out for. Another one between two Titans and two Cruz Azul. Another one that involves Cruz Azul. Cruz Azul took on Toluca in Jornada 4, and they ended up tying 1-1. One where was very dominant by Cruz Azul, right? 22 shots for Cruz Azul versus 6
Hmm.
shots for Toluca. 6 shots on targets for Cruz Azul versus 2 for Toluca, and 30% to pretty much 70% for Cruz Azul, in Cruz Azul's favor. The biggest match of Jornada 4, and ended up kind of disappointing with a 1-1 draw.
Yeah, I mean, these are the kind of matches where you would expect, a lot of firepower and just going back and forth on the offensive, right? But I think if you look at from a, tactician perspective, from a GameStop perspective, you could see that both coaches were pretty much displaying the ideology that they defend, right? The ideology they stand behind. In this case, Dancel Mineta is pretty much forward all the way, attacking, pressing every single minute of the match, and that was what Cruz Azul was doing. On the other half, Paiva from Toluca, it's more of a reserved kind of a. He likes to play from a counter attack perspective, and if he's dominating, then he settles into a more possessive game style. But in this case, that's what they were doing. Toluca was pretty much, defending and playing that counter offensive, and Cruz Azul was just trying to completely obliterate Toluca in every single minute. So you know, Toluca started winning 1-0, and it wasn't until the 89th minute where El Chavo Angel Sepulveda tied the match. A small little note here: Angel Sepulveda has scored 2 goals in the last 2 matches, which is kind of surprising given that he spent almost a year without scoring a goal. I mean, the last one was against Monterrey on the previous Liguilla, but before that, he spent like at least 6 months where he didn't score a goal whatsoever. So it's nice to see another Mexican striker making some noise in a team where you have a strong striker like Yakumakis as the first choice.
Yep. And with that draw 1-1, Cruz Azul kind of cements their place at the top of Liga MX with 10 points, tied with Pumas and Tigres, who also have 10 points after cuatro jornadas here. So real quick, some rapid fire summaries of the previous 2 jornadas. Jornada 3 had Pachuca beat San Luis 2-0. Querétaro lost to Guadalajara 2-0. Atlas beat Santos 1-0. Santos playing very poor football this season so
Yeah,
far.
man, you gotta be kidding me. Poor Nacho Ambriz, he doesn't deserve this.
Puebla tying 2-2 with León. Cruz Azul, as we talked about, beat Tijuana 3-0. Monterrey beat Necaxa 1-0. Necaxa getting a red card. Pumas beat Juárez 2-1. Tigres beat América 1-0. And Toluca beat Mazatlán 3-0. Rapid fire for Jornada 4. What did we see, Adrian?
We had a tie between San Luis and Tijuana, as you mentioned. We also saw Puebla loss against Atlas 2-1. Guadalajara beat Mazatlan 2-0 with a golazo from El Caballo Cabo. That was a good goal, I gotta say.
Yep.
Santos Laguna again on the down streak, losing 3-0 against Tigres. That was a solid display from Tigres.
Mm-hmm.
And Nico Ibañez scoring, Ape Diaz scoring, even he's screening his tally with goals with Tigres. Monterrey against Querétaro 1-2-1. Kind of an easy match for Monterrey as well down there, and they debuted one youngster with his last name is Fimbres, I think. He has like a Mexican senator name, if you ask me. But he looked very solid, very strong, man, on that debut. So that was a good small thing for those of us who follow Mexican talent, right? Cruz Azul against Toluca, as we said, 1-1. Juarez against Club America, they lost 2-1. Close call for America again. They continue to have that bicampeonitis, as we can see. We'll see if they qualify for the playoffs or the Liguilla this season. And as of right now, Pumas is winning 2-0 against Pachuca. Minute 6, almost over, if I'm not mistaken. If it is not over already,
Yeah, it's minute 96 right now. 2-0.
2-0. So win from Pumas, and Pachuca seems to be on the dumps, dude. They are falling, free falling. Just recently, last week or 2 weeks ago, their fitness coach quit, saying that he wasn't getting paid enough. And Almada is just losing the locker room, dude. I don't know what's going on, but they are not looking hot this season. And the last match of Jornada 4, which is still at this moment not happened just yet, is Leon against Necaxa at 5 p.m. Mexico time.
Yep. So that matchup will Leon Necaxa round up Jornada 4 before we go on that week's hiatus for Leagues Cup.
Yeah.
The funny thing about that Leagues Cup was Tigres were for the longest time hyping up the Miami match with Messi, and Messi's not going to be playing it.
It's gonna suck, dude. That's the whole. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm going with my brother and Marcelo. Shout out to Marcelo, who's our boy doing all of our social media and whatnot. And the whole reason why why we were going is, well, of course I see Tigres because we all go for Tigres, but Marcelo specifically loves Messi, and so it just sucks that he won't be able to see it. So poor guy. But hey, he's gonna come here, have a good time. And then hopefully, Tigres gets a W, and maybe we'll see Luis Suarez and with the freaking Sergio Busquets and Jordi Alba.
Jordi Alba, all of Marcelo's Barca boys.
Exactly, but it just kind of sucks when I heard that. Well, I mean, I guess I kind of sort of knew when he's freaking
Hinkle.
yeah, all swollen off.
It was funny because I saw a meme that said, like it showed Messi's ankle, and then
Mhm.
it was like, no sé por qué se queja si las de mi tía siempre están así, and they showed like the tía with the
Yeah,
tacones.
yeah, I know. Damn it, dude, that's funny.
uh,
That's
but
hilarious.
Getting back to Liga MX, man, as you guys know, this year they implemented the 2011 rule that states
Mhm.
all these young players have to get a certain amount of minutes before the end of the year, 1,000 minutes. And as of right now, as of Jornada 4, there are three teams with less than 100
180.
minutes, 180
Yeah,
minutes,
sorry,
and that's
that's a typo.
yeah, Toluca with 84, Cruz Azul 119, and Tigres 126. So as of right
Yes.
now, those three are the only teams that have not met. If the current trends continue,
Yeah,
are on course to not meet it.
like if you look at the entire all of the teams right now, I think the average by jornada 4 should be 180 minutes, and it's just alarming to see these three teams not even meeting the average expected at jornada 4, which is 180 minutes.
And at the end of the day, what you get just a fee. I'm guessing
Yeah, so
you don't meet it.
the I guess the penalty in this case is you get deducted 3 points and I think an economic fee, right? Like they will charge you something. But and the other thing is also like I don't know if you remember, but back in the 2000s, whenever they had this rule, some of the teams would just play the last match. They would just play
Throw
nothing
all
but
their young
youngsters.
guys.
Exactly. But this time around, that's not possible because part of the rule is only those players who were born in 2005 and up, I guess 2005 and 2006 and younger, they will give you like 100% of the minutes they play. But if you have young players who were born, I think between 2000, 2005 or 2003, 2005, I remember, less than 23 years old, I think, they will give you a percentage. So for example, if you're fielding someone who's 23 years old, they will give you like 15% of the minutes he plays. So for example, in this case, Tigres, it's pretty much banking on Osiel Herrera and Marcelo Flores to get most of the points. And so, that's the reason why they only have 126 minutes as of Jornada
Right.
4, right? And so we'll see what happens with these teams.
Yeah, and on the flip side of that, we have teams that are way ahead of the mark as of so
Yeah,
far, right? Pachuca 624 minutes, Santos 716 minutes, and Chivas 584 minutes. So, yeah, it's nice to see at least those guys be given younger. This 2011 rule working so far, and for the most
yeah,
part, getting younger
hmm
Mexican talent some time. Like you said, you brought up that example of the Monterrey player. So yeah, man. Another note here: Mexico's Liga MX transfer window closes 9/14. So
yes,
yeah, teams can transfer up to 5 players under the criteria that the internal transfers of players who have already played in Liga MX this season ends at 8/27, right? So
yeah.
um,
And that's the whole reason why you haven't seen like a lot of transfers in Liga MX as of this, this tournament, right? I
it's
mean,
this
if you look at
time.
Tigres,
Yeah.
yeah, you look at Tigres, they haven't even announced any other transfer. I think they just announced today a Brazilian center back from Santos. But if you look at the entire roster of teams and the number of transfers that have happened, it's very minimal because most of these teams are just waiting for Leagues Cup to be over to see if they can bring someone else. And also, Copa America just finished, almost a week and a half ago, or 2 weeks ago. Same thing with the Euros, which I don't think anyone from Liga MX will hire someone from the Euros. But yeah, that's why we had like a slow kind of summer of transfers in Liga
Hmm.
MX. As you mentioned, there are still happening some internal transfers, like Rodrigo Aguirre just this last week, and players who have played no more than 5 matches with their current team are still eligible to get transferred up to the 27th of August of this year of this season, I guess.
Right.
Mhm.
All right, man. Well, as we continue this episode, let's go through some stats and standings here as of Jornada 4. Current standings for La Tabla. Cruz Azul, like we said, top of the table with 10 points. Pumas and Tigres also trailing behind with 10 points. 4 is Monterrey with 9 points. Toluca follows in 5th place with 8 points. And 6th place, Atlas, 8 points. Guadalajara has 7 points. Also does Cholos. Tijuana, 7 points. America has 6 points. And at 10 points, sorry, and at 5 points in 10th place, San Luis. So
Yes, sir.
those are the 1 through 10 based off Liguilla and the play in being
Exactly.
7 through 10 if that were to end today. Um,
And just a little caveat, since we're recording right now and there's still one match still to go. This might change by the time we publish this, so please don't tell us in the. I mean, you're probably someone's gonna say something in the comments, but just bear with us, right? We're not. It's a Sunday, guys. Come on.
it's a Sunday and the last match is Leon and Necaxa. So,
Yeah, exactly.
um, but top scorers, man. Henry Martin, 4 goals. And interestingly enough, I think seeing in the top 3, Cade Cowell with 3 goals, who's been Chivas' undisputed best player of the season so far.
Yeah,
He said that golazo in this past jornada. But yeah,
bro.
I mean,
You also have a Canadian. You have an American and a Canadian on the top three scorers
Liga
until Jornada
MX.
4. Yeah, because Lucas Cavallini is a
Yeah,
Canadian.
yeah, man.
So,
And then it's funny to see what's his name, Georgios, the Greek guy, up there
oh,
with 2 goals
Giacomakis.
already. Yeah,
Yeah.
top assist. It is Jose Paradela with 2 goals, and then there's just a ton, 5 other 6 players. Sebastian
Yeah.
Cordova with 2 goals. So Henry Martin with 1 goal. It's just starting to form the table as we go through this
Hmm.
tournament. Clean sheets. Jose Rangel has 3. Kevin Mier has 3, leading the charts there with clean sheets so far. And as we wrap up, Adrian, upcoming matches we discussed, none.
No, yeah,
Taking
there's
a
not
break.
gonna be exact. We're gonna take a break from doing this weekly Liga MX recaps because, as you mentioned earlier in the episode, there's gonna be Leagues Cup happening. The small change from last year is that last year Liga MX pretty much went on a hiatus, on a month long hiatus, where even if the teams got disqualified or grouped on Leagues Cup, they were not playing, so they had to wait until Leagues Cup was over to resume any matches. And this time around that agreed on, hey, if let's say that Puebla and Cholos get grouped on Leagues Cup, right? When they come back, they can, and if they were scheduled to play on week 10 of Liga MX, they're gonna move that match earlier so Liga MX can continue, because a lot of the teams complain about that specific situation. So in this case, we will resume Liga MX, I think, in 2 weeks once the group stage of Leagues Cup is over, because we're for sure going to have a couple of Mexican teams,
We're probably like half
some,
of them back.
yeah, back in Mexico. So we'll take out maybe a 2 weeks hiatus here in PPG on our weekly Liga MX recaps.
That's a good change, man. I like that change. It at least
Yeah,
makes it so you don't kill the whole, momentum of the league
for real.
for
Yeah.
this month long.
Hmm.
But yeah, Adrian, man, as we wrap up this episode, brother, of Liga MX recap, we're gonna listen to find us, dude.
They can always find us on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and turn on the notifications. You can also find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast on. Last but not least, you can also find us on Instagram and TikTok. We post memes, latest news, and shorts of our episodes.
Yeah, be sure to follow us and let us know in the comments below. What are your thoughts so far as of Jornada 4 here for Liga MX? How's your team doing? Who has surprised you the most, team-wise, scorer-wise, clean sheet-wise? Let us know in the comments below. And are you excited for Leagues Cup? A messy-less Leagues Cup? Let us
Yeah.
know who you got winning that. What, I guess, groups are you interested in looking at? With a lot of, interesting groups like the Tigres Miami group, obviously. So let
Yeah.
us know in the comments below. Adrian, man, another good episode. See you in the next one, brother.
Always a pleasure. Take it easy.
See you, man.